that continue on to lead and to be a voice in the world. And someone who I get to bring on with another special guest here in just a moment is someone I have known for, I think, almost 20 years, if not a little bit more than 20 years. Robin Downs. Robin Downs and I have known each other from the way back yoga days. And this woman has not let up in a fantastic way, in a really beautiful honoring of the path of yoga is no matter what, it gives me goosebumps, no matter what has come up in her way that has tried to stop her from really sharing this beautiful healing art and science that is yoga. And now she's stepped into, and we'll get to talk to her about this, her life took a turn, and instead of dropping everything or stopping her course, she continued in a freaking amazing way. So I'm really, really excited to bring on Robin. So let me actually read her real bio, because that was my own heart bio of our dear beloved Robin. So Robin shares that it was her travels to India where her gurus encouraged her to take the yoga practice and interpret it for her people. In 1996, when she became a certified yoga instructor, she felt her people had Flava, and she created Yoga Flava classes that embraced urban culture and ancient moves to contemporary grooves. And so she's looking forward to this a new era as she embraces turning 60 and outliving her mother's age. And those of you really, you know that. She just turned 60, yes. I think, well, yes, she just turned 60. Oh my God, I was at her birthday. Hello. And so this is a beautiful celebration when we outlive our own parents, especially our, her mother. So that's like a huge thing. So power to that. And celebrating her silver hair and her elder care now with Yoga Flava Silva sessions. So she's been moving into 2020 with that. And we get to talk to her about that. So she's been teaching these chair yoga sessions, and she's been inspired by her father, Sergeant Major, who we get to now also be in the company of. So grateful for that. And she gets to do something together. So Sergeant Major William Downs, retired Army veteran, drafted, taken away from friends and family in the Bronx, 2 years active during the Cold War and on guided missile sites in Cleveland, Ohio. He stayed in the National Guard and Army Reserves for an additional 26 years. He's retired school teacher after 25 years, electrician installation, and fabulous father to Marcy and Robin. So welcome, Robin and Sergeant Major.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Hemalayaa. Hi, Jehan. Hey, DTO.
Hello, hello. So maybe have a little share of where in the world you are at this moment.
You mean
Physically?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We're in Roosevelt, Long Island, New York. I have a place in Manhattan, and Dad's house is in Roosevelt, Long Island. So especially during the quarantine, if I was going to choose any place, it was out in the house in Long Island. So Dad has a fabulous backyard. He's 10 minutes away from Jones Beach. So we've been able to navigate with grace during this COVID period.
So beautiful. I'm happy that you are both together, and
We're happy too.
yes. So what is your take on what is going on right now in the world?
Ooh. Wow. Okay, well, first we had COVID, and I know I came on and I said I was prepared. And then watching a man of color, African American, Black man die at the hands of a white man who kneeled on him. I think any human person seeing that, or any human being doing it to another human being, is outrageous. And I think the streets needed to speak up. We were all inside watching television, so a lot more people, maybe than in other eras, might have seen it before.
Yes.
And also the uprising, a lot of the leaders from back in the day in the African American community are saying that this is different because it is multiracial. It's not just, African Americans, Black people, out in the streets. It's several different generations of all different nationalities all over the world, probably because we had time to sit and be still and say, something's not right.
Yes.
Something's not right. So if this is the spark to change everything with the injustice that is happening in our world, then this is the spark.
Really beautifully shared. Thank you, Robin. And I'm curious, Sergeant Major, you've seen a lot in your life. And what do you say to this shift that is happening right now?
Well, I'm a little confused about what's going on.
Well, what he has been saying is that he hasn't actually coming up felt a lot of the racial harassment other than in the military where he was able to become a sergeant major.
Right.
And he would say the white guys came up to him, it's like, oh, you couldn't be a sergeant major. So he would tell me stories of how he had to punish them. And other than that, I have to say, Himalaya, I was raised American. My father's a first generation American who,
Caribbean.
well, first generation from Caribbean descent,
Caribbean, yeah.
right, who came to this country and nose to the grindstone wanted to take advantage of the opportunities in this country. He still to this day says get a civil service job. And when he hears all the jobless people, he was like, did they take civil service tests? Those are the essential workers, those civil service jobs. So he was, straight ahead, military, school teacher, a civil servant. And he was fortunate to I want to even say escape the South Bronx. We were raised in the era, and right before the South Bronx was burning, there's tales of the South Bronx. And I was telling DTO about one of my favorite documentaries that talks about from mambo to hip hop, because Dad's the mambo era, I'm the hip hop era. And the flavor
Uh-huh.
totally comes from all of that multicultural. On my father's side, it's Jamaican and Barbadian. On my mother's side, it's East Indian and West Indian. So I had all of that multicultural, but otherwise I was raised on pink lace and Walt Disney and straight up American. I
Yeah.
was, I was. And when I remember a lot of the civil unrest was happening in the 70s was happening, I had to educate myself because my father was busy with the military,
Yeah.
working as a school teacher and going to school at night.
Yeah.
So he was, straight and narrow. And it was me who had to discover my own Black consciousness.
Right. Well, you are very multicultural. I mean, you've been gifted with so many beautiful uh, global cultures and, I mean, great representation. And I love that you are. And yeah, I love that like we are American, grew up
Yeah,
American.
yeah, I grew up
And
American. Yeah.
that's it. No matter what culture we are, it's like we
That's
have,
how I was raised. He raised me as an American. He always flavored it with our Caribbean ancestry, but very
some
much a good.
spice, of course, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
good dance, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful. Well, I'm going to shift the conversation here a little bit. Um, I really want to acknowledge you. You've been in the field of yoga for a very, very long time, and with Flava, I don't know anybody else that would would be able to say Flava and yoga in the same sentence. So of course you can, because you certainly have Flava, girl. And
Thank
so
you.
here's what I want to acknowledge you for is in this culture, we tend to abandon the elders. We abandon our family in the natural course of life. And when our family needs us, it's like, we're too busy. We're too busy. And what you did, even though Sergeant Major might not have been so fond of you being a yoga teacher or on this path of yoga.
Yeah, I didn't get a civil service job. We still had that conversation yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't it interesting? Because now you have a civil service job because you
I'm
are
an
doing
essential worker.
exactly. How do you like that, Sergeant Major?
I like it.
Yes, perfect. So I want to acknowledge you truly for you didn't stop. You were called, you had the inner calling to support Sergeant Major and be there and teach him exactly what you know, even if, in the past it wasn't the case that he was open to it. And in this society, like I say, is we're used to this thing. And we're used to also looking for the thing. Oh, okay, if I, just we're just constantly looking for the thing to do. And it was right in front of you the whole time. I mean, you didn't hesitate for a moment, but usually for us out there looking and looking, it's right in front of us. You didn't hesitate for a moment, and you went into service, contribution, and community. So will you speak into that? Because what Dave DTO just had on the screen is your beautiful offering in the world now. Like you coming into essential working with our beautiful beloved Sergeant Major has also created your work in the world in this next phase. Will you speak into that?
Yes, most definitely. Because when I first came to help Sergeant Major, he definitely had his own routine, his own way of doing things, and really wasn't grasping the concept that, okay, Dad, now is the time to allow for some caregiving and allow me to assist you. And and it's been 3 years now, and it took some time for us to come to a really nice rhythm, I want to say. And he will definitely let me know when he's uncomfortable with something, and vice versa. And once I felt like the rhythm was working well is when I was able to reconnect with you, Hemalayaa, because I know that I didn't want to lose myself in the whole caregiving process. I had used a lot of my yoga tools, and I just wanted to make sure I could continue on with my own identity and my own resources. So the sisterhood came in handy. The mastermind, it was the a secret sauce mastermind. It came in, right on time for me. And during that time, I was able to focus on, and you helped me to focus on, like you keep saying, what was right in front of me. And then it was there, and I was, I remember I was talking about, striving and surviving and all these different things, and you were like, it's the caregiving. And Jahan too. Jahan was my partner during that time, and she was so thrilled, when that became very, very clear. So the clarity amongst all the different things that I do, I'm also an Emmy Award winner, broadcaster, filmmaker, and part of this process in incorporating that is that I want to do a documentary about the 25 years, and also about the flashbulb kid who's an award-winning photographer from the age of 17. When I was going through his paperwork, I found that he was an award winner featured in the New York Times at 17 years old. I didn't know that growing up. I didn't know that growing up. So my love of filmmaking came from the Flashbulb Kid. My whole life is documented. So just incorporating all of these things, and now with under the banner of caregiver and yoga instructor, silver hair and elder care, I'm so delighted to move forward with focus and clarity.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, you are an inspiration. And uh, yeah, like thank you for also sharing that we sometimes we get like, oh, I have all these gifts and I have all these things and I want to, like, this is what I feel like it is, and this is what we do in our leadership programs is like, yes, and there is a specific focus that you could be really supporting. And I can see you now like making an incredible contribution, because this is an area of society and that's so forgotten. It's just so forgotten. You know, coming from an Indian background, it's so forgotten. I can't
Well,
believe
well,
it's
I
been
have
accepted.
been able to find my tribe, and they
Nice.
are reaching out to me. And I'd like to, give a shout out to Bahamia, who I'll be doing a live on Instagram, and she has a site givecareandtakecare.com, and also Natalia, who reached out to me, and she has careblazers.com. So I'm so happy that they saw what I was doing and they embraced me in their programs. Bahamia is a geriatric care manager, and Natalia, I was already following her YouTube channel. When she reached out to me, I didn't make the connection until even today when I was just like, oh, wow, that's her. And she's been dealing with specifically dementia and geriatric care. So I'm so happy that, my tribe is coming together.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. You just answered the question. I was going to ask you if there's something that, how was your experience of being in a leadership program and continuing to now that you're in the Embody Leadership Mastermind as well? But what was your experience? And one of the things I'm hearing is that your tribe is now finding you, and this is one of the things that we teach. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to add to that, because that's truly the way. It's like we don't have to like chase or hustle. It's really you get really clear about what your offering is, and then people find you. You
Yeah,
magnetize
it's
that
been
tribe
nice.
to you.
It's been nice. It's been nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
beautiful. Well, any
excited about
last
helping other caregivers and loved ones, and encouraging everyone to pay attention to that phase of life and the transition, and doing all you can to allow it with a sense of ease and a sense of joy. Dad and I want to have fun, right, Dad?
Got that right.
Yes. I love that. Okay, so I want everyone to
And
really
socialize.
hear what's that, Sergeant
And
Major?
socialize. I told you he's looking for a girlfriend.
That is very good.
Yes. Okay, any takers out there? Maybe we'll ask right straight up. Who's watching? Who's got a good companion date for our Sergeant Major? Come on. What we got?
Thank you, Hema.
Yeah. Totally. Well, thank you both for your presence and your beautiful love and your light and just your heart. Robin, I love how clear you are and how much of a contribution you are. And if you like those of you leaders out there who are stepping in, just listen to how Robin, she's a master in her delivery of bringing it back to what she's doing and what she's offering in the world. So like even her interview skills, right? Like just watch that. I like that's what I want to acknowledge you for is like you're
Thank you.
you're putting it out there. And those of you, so really hear this is like those of you who are in the field of bringing health and well-being and wellness for elder care in any arena. Robin Downs is someone who is bringing a lot of awareness and skills and offerings to the world. So, any last words, Sergeant Major and Robin?
Any last words, Daddy?
No last words. I enjoy being with you.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. And yeah, with everything going on in the world, don't lose sight of finding the joy amongst your family, loved ones, and community.